The Seahawks schedule release is here. The much anticipated day that George got spoiled because of leaks. And we'll start there before we break down the schedule. I know me and you had a little text debate about it before the show this morning, which is problem with the leaks or not. And I'm going to guess it's probably a solid 50-50 with a lot of people, but I know your side.
Yeah, and I'm not that passionate about it, right? Like, I really could care less. But if I had to choose one way, I'd probably choose not to leak things. I think it's just better in general to, like, you know, have that, like, live aspect. You get excited to see it. But instead, we were, like, sprinkled the schedule throughout the day. And then by the time, like, noon hit, we knew every single game on the schedule. So kind of takes, like, it makes it anticlimactic. I mean, not a big deal.
I didn't watch the schedule release thing on TV after knowing the schedule.
Yeah, no, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not passionate about, like, super passionate about, like, if they should leak it or not leak it. But I just feel like it'd be better if it wasn't leaked.
Yeah, see, I was telling you earlier, I have a lot of friends that don't even see these things, you know, if they're not in the sports world. Like, they don't see the draft leaks. They don't see the schedule leaks. But I think it is a lot different with the schedule. I don't care because at the end of the day, I was, as you know, like, it turns out the Seahawks are playing the Cardinals on my wedding day. And that was like, my whole thing was, when's the bye week? Who are they playing on my wedding day? And, like, I was just trying to get over with the schedule. But with the draft side, I actually do feel it even more. The draft's supposed to be that type of event, like, on TV, shocking, right? Like, a schedule is not shocking.
Yeah.
But, like, draft.
The Seahawks did a good job during the draft not leaking it, by the way. Like,
they were, like, the only ones that actually the pick got tweeted, like, as they were on the podium. They were the only ones. Like, that, which I prefer. With the draft, it's a little more suspense. But at the end of the day, the schedule got leaked. I think most of it was correct. There might be a couple misses. I don't know what people leaked. But let's go through some of this. I'm going to ask you a question before we go through some predictions or ideas of how the schedule shapes out. But I asked this question on Twitter. I'll give my answer after you give yours. If you had to pick one home game, the ones that are in lime green on the schedule there, and one away game, which one would you pick to attend this year?
Okay, home game. We got, let's see. Those are in green, you said?
Yeah, I can give my answer first because I know them if you want. Okay. I
have mine. Can I guess if we have the same one?
Okay, well, for home. For home, what is it?
I want to see. Like, you have yours already. I'm trying to guess yours and see if we align. Make it a fun
Thursday
game.
Night Football against the 49ers.
Okay,
or Sunday Night Football against the Packers.
That's the one I had. Sunday Night Football against the Packers. Yeah.
Can I give you my reason that I might pick if I was having to buy tickets the Thursday night game is because if we don't have a great year, I'm hoping we do, that Sunday night game week, whatever that is, 15, 16, won't be that important. But
that's very true.
Week 6, Thursday Night Football at home against the 49ers, that's going to be electric, even if your team's like 2-4, because you never know what happens in this league.
Fair enough. All right, now you can try to guess my away game.
Well, there's 2 that I'm going to get. Okay, I'm going to preface this with.
There is 2, yes.
Yeah, I know what your answers are because they're probably the same as mine. And I think what people probably might also catch on here is we don't really love the Sunday day games, like in the middle of the day, because I don't want to miss Red Zone or all the other football. So it's either going to be Monday night at Detroit or Thursday night in Chicago.
Yeah, and I'm leaning towards Monday night in Detroit, beginning of the year. It feels like I'm hoping we have a good year, right? But I can guarantee by week 4 we're still we're still in it.
Even if you're 0-3, you're still in it. With no division games yet, you're still in it at 0-3.
Exactly.
I will agree with you in one sense also that it's a dome stadium, and I don't know what the fuck's going to happen the day after Christmas in Chicago weather-wise. But there's also that aspect of it but there's that also that aspect makes it somewhat cool too. Thursday Night Football the day after Christmas. Like, imagine spending Christmas with your family, next morning hopping on a flight to Chicago. You go to a game. Caleb Williams is rolling in his first year, and the Seahawks are fighting for a playoff spot, and you're in the snow in Chicago. It would be pretty memorable, even though I don't know if I'd want to sit in that weather.
I totally agree. That's Like, I don't know if I want to sit in the Windy City in December, the day after Christmas.
And leave my family during that week
Yeah.
because usually I'm
And I
spending a lot of
think
time.
by then you can also flex Thursday night games, or no?
I think last year was the last 4 or 5 weeks, right?
Right. So is it possible that ends up being a Sunday afternoon frigid temperatures in Chicago game? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, last year they started flexing Thursdays, but I'm not sure. But if they did, that would also be like a bummer if you picked to go to that game and it's like, oh, it's the 4-12 Bears versus the Seahawks. If let's say they were like 7 and something at that time, like out of the playoffs, it's like move to Sunday afternoon.
And if you booked like flights and stuff to Chicago, like by then it could change. But I'm not quite sure if like if it is a flexible game or not.
Well, let me tell you what I'm not doing, George. Most likely is booking a flight to Chicago on December 26th, regardless.
Me either. But in case someone's listening and is planning on it, keep that in mind.
In case we put the idea in someone's head, they're like, I'm booking to Chicago. No. Be careful on that right now.
Exactly.
The other one that's interesting to me would be a 10 a.m. game. If it wasn't a 10 a.m. game in New York, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy and playing well,
on
it'd be a kind of a cool
1st.
experience.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It'd be a good one.
Be a really fun game if Aaron Rodgers is humming or not humming. Could be if he's not humming, it might be the last time you can watch him live.
Yeah, well, I meant like healthy because last year he didn't make it past week 1. So hopefully he does for his sake.
NFL teasing the Jets and putting him on Monday Night Football again this year in week 1.
I know they're like, please, like, hopefully he can, but I think they're doing that in case, like, let's get as much of his screen time.
He should run out of the American flag again.
Knowing him, he would do something funny like that.
Yeah, even though he's like kind of anti-America, but that's a different story for a different day.
Different day. Moving off Aaron Rodgers, the schedule, George. Before we get into the anti-America Aaron Rodgers topics, is I wanted to go through it at some point here and look at the realistic looking at like what are some of the toughest ones you think on the schedule and some of the easier ones on the schedule. Overall, it doesn't seem like the easiest schedule if you consider the quarterbacks on each of these teams and the situation. So schedule released today. Brief thoughts on like what are you seeing as some of the tough games? Because I see outside of like the Giants, Patriots, because it's a rookie quarterback, Broncos rookie. There's a lot of Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff's, Tua. Yeah. There's a lot of tough quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, just like kind of looking like quickly through the schedule. Like week 1, I see a win. Week 2, I see a win. 3, a win. 4, a win. 5, 6, 7, 8, win. Bye week 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17 and 0 is what I have, give or take a game.
My biggest concern is that bye week. Like, can we get a win that week or not?
You can never lose. You never lose the bye week in the NFL.
So undefeated.
But no, honestly, though, what makes me happy about this schedule, like all jokes aside, is week 1 and 2 is back-to-back weeks versus probably rookie quarterbacks, unless Jacoby Brissett gets the, who also doesn't scare me that much, gets the nod for the Patriots. You can start off the season 2-0 and kind of get like, sports in general is just momentum and vibes and all that. And, Daniel Jones week 5, it's very conceivable we start the season 3-2. And if we can upset either the Dolphins or the Lions, you might start off the season 4-1 going into that game against the 49ers. And I mean, I know we got a hot start last year, didn't capitalize on it and make the playoffs, but seeing that our it's kind of like a front-loaded of first 2 games against either rookie quarterbacks or a Jacoby Brissett. Kind of like it's a nice feeling to start off the year.
Yeah, and I'll say something about that. But before I do, George, I'm going to use this as an ad break opportunity. We have a revamped Seattle on Tap website. Instead of hitting you guys with plugs of other companies or hitting you with our own, check out SeattleOnTap.com for all our merchandise, and you can find all our social medias on there for our Seattle. We do have a Huskies page and a Mariners page and social medias of Mariners and other things, so make sure you guys check out SeattleOnTap.com if you're enjoying this video to support us and the merchandise we got there. And after our quick ad break there, George, I'm going to say one thing about those first 2 games that you mentioned is rookie quarterbacks. And if anything that I'm excited to see about this season. I'm not worried about our offense, really. I think Ryan Grubb's going to be a good offensive coordinator regardless. He'll be okay because the offense is pretty well set, right? We've had multiple years of Geno Smith with Kenneth Walker, with JSN, Lockett, and Metcalf. I don't really see the offense. Two things. I don't see the offense blowing up much more than it did maybe in 2022, and it's not going to regress much more than it did last year regardless. But that defense, the reason Mike McDonald's here is because he made Geno Smith in the Seahawks offense last year look like they had no idea what, like they had their heads cut off last year.
He made like a JV team.
Yeah, he made the even in the playoffs. Remember, we talked about. I remember we were watching at a bar, the Chiefs Ravens game. I think we were watching at a bar, and we were talking about like Mahomes got pretty quiet for a whole half against him. His defenses really mess with quarterbacks, and if he brings an aspect to that to Seattle against rookies, you might be able to really mess them up.
Let's not forget there was a team last year that was just gangbusters on offense, the Miami Dolphins, putting up 73 points one game against the Denver Broncos. Last year, the Ravens, I know, the Ravens beat them 56-19, and I think that was the least amount of points the Dolphins scored last year. So he knows how to, I'm believing it's the least amount of points. It looks like they put up 70, by the way, not that much. Yeah, from just a quick look, I could be wrong. That was the least amount of points they put up. No, the final in the playoffs they put up 14, but that was a snow game.
They put up 19, right? You said?
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, I mean they won against the Dolphins 56-19, which also turnover. Jesus Christ, the Ravens really won 56-19 against the Dolphins.
Yes.
You said,
look,
not
only
3-0. Yeah, and that causes a lot of times when the defense does that, what does that do for the offense? We all know.
Gives them
gets
confidence.
The offense rolling.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's why it's just like this. I feel like the schedule gods. By the way, did you know they do the schedule by hand? There's like a guy, like you look that up on Twitter, but he does it by hands and moves like the things.
I know he's like on a board.
Yeah, like I was kind of shocked by that. The schedule god, we're gonna call him. He was like, "Oh, let's give the Seahawks like 2 easy weeks in the Dolphins." Like, that's a manageable first 2 weeks of a season. And then you go to Detroit, who, by the way, a lot of teams that pop that high tend to regress the year after. And I don't necessarily think the Lions are that type of team, but they could.
Yeah, and speaking back of your point with the Ravens, sorry, I'm going back to this for a second, but
yeah,
I was just looking at their schedule after we mentioned the Seahawks and the
I know what you're about to say because I was just Googling the same thing. Only 6 points against the Lions.
Yeah, 38-6. I mean, there's a couple things that stand out. The Texans, I know CJ was a rookie game one, but they only put 9 points up, and that offense was good all season. The Browns put up 3 points. The Lions, the best offense maybe in football outside of the Dolphins last year, put up 6. The Seahawks, at that time, remember the Seahawks were like freaking, 6-2 at the time or something like that? And they put up 3 points. Chargers only put up 10. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence put up 7. And then they held the Dolphins and beat them 56-19. And the Chiefs, they lost 17-10 in that playoff game, but they played really well. And when they beat the Houston Texans, whose offense was rolling better than any other team, it was 34-10. They only allowed 1 touchdown.
But we have to be fair. We do not have the same personnel as the Ravens for those watching.
Totally understand.
But same scheme. And the same coach. And can you get the defense 20% better?
100%. I mean, we made some personnel changes. So I think that's also personnel changes that help towards probably what he wanted. And let's not forget, I think this was a big thing that I did a lot of research on, and we talked about on the pods and some of my YouTube videos as well on my page, which was Mike McDonald. When he went to Michigan, Michigan's biggest problem, even in the Jim Harbaugh era, was their defense was ranking near the bottom in a lot of college football categories. Mm-hmm. He went to Michigan, helped turn around that program, defensively especially. They became really good. I know he left, but they continued on the success. He goes to the Ravens. There were some guys on the Ravens, like Patrick Queen was considered a bust for 2 years or for a year. Mike McDonald came. He changed that defense back to the Ravens culture and got everyone paid on that defense and made everyone look like all pros and superstars.
Exactly.
So coaching does matter. We saw it with God bless Pete Carroll. He got older. His defense kind of got run down a little bit near the end, and maybe his schemes and and his system doesn't work in this generation. But when Pete Carroll came to Seattle and he got the right pieces, we built possibly one of the top 1, 2, or 3 defenses in the history of football in the year we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. And so maybe Mike McDaniel. I also want to say McDonald. I was going to say McDaniel for some reason. McDonald.
Because there's a Mike McDaniel. That's going to be a great, 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 great time for the announcers. Going between Mike McDaniel, Mike McDonald, the Lions, Seahawks week 3.
Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. You just got to be practicing.
Mike McDonald is really doing a good job against Mike McDaniel. The Mike McDaniel offense is struggling against the Mike McDonald defense.
He actually did pretty good there. He didn't mess it up, but it is hard for a whole game. Yeah, it's hard for a whole game.
Now do it for 60 minutes straight.
Yeah, it's hard. Overall, George, though, I think it's exciting. You will see us at December 8th probably at the Arizona Cardinal, our yearly Arizona Cardinals game that we attend. That's basically a Seahawks game. And one other thing that I wanted to mention before we get going is the bye week. Last week we had a week 5 bye, and you saw the injuries caught up on the team, and it felt like we lost momentum. Week 10 is a wonderful bye week. Kind of almost, I think 11 would be 10, 9 or 9's actually smacked out of the middle,
probably
right?
12 would have been perfect.
My wedding weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a weird day in Cancun, too. So it's going to be like 3 or 4 o'clock in the middle of my wedding. But yeah, we'll find some resources to take care of our pages.
Do you take Noor to be your wife? Fuck! Or touchdown! Like, dude, like
fucking Kyler Murray. What are you doing? Hand in the phone at the altar. Phone in the hand. I said hand on the whatever. Just sorry.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, but week 10, it's a great bye week. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty smacked at it. I guess it's 18 weeks, so like 9 or 10 is right there in the middle.
Yep.
A good way to, if you're doing well, especially. That's a nice, if you go through 9 weeks and you're like at 6-3 and you have a nice bye week right there in the middle of the season, a good spot to have it before going on the road to play San Francisco.
Absolutely, man. Especially another year where the 49ers are going to be good. So nice to get a bye week before that game, obviously.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be an interesting year. A lot of quarterbacks, George, we're going to be facing just based off of, like we mentioned, to start. I'm just looking at it.
Yeah, like
2 against the 49ers.
Yeah.
What was that?
You know what I like to do is like kind of look at the quarterback matchups and say, do we have the better quarterback today? I mean, sometimes the rookie quarterback's going to be better, but like, do we have the better quarterback today, and then predict our record? Like, you want to play this game?
Well, I can tell you which ones are even comparable. So I'll just start with that, and you tell me if it's a win or loss.
All right.
Tua in the Dolphins.
Tua's a little
Week 3, Tua might be better. Week 3,
yeah,
Tua.
Yeah, good weather. Well, if it's raining, Gino's better.
Okay, that's a toss-up. Jared Goff, you have to lean Jared Goff a little bit at home. Brock Purdy and the 49ers, I don't even know what to do about Brock Purdy.
Like, look, Brock's been back 2 Super Bowls now, right? 1 Super Bowl and 1 NFC championship game. I'm going to give it to Brock Purdy. Or 2 Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls.
1 Super Bowl.
No, 1 Super Bowl. Yeah, 1 Super Bowl.
I feel like it's toss-up. So I think Geno Smith in that same system probably would have similar success.
Yes, I agree with that.
We have
Let's split those then. How about those? We'll split the 49er games.
Okay.
Since you think
so, we're kind of at like 2-2 essentially here, kind of.
Yeah, this
Kirk Cousins.
He's coming off an Achilles. I don't know.
Okay, we'll say we're 3-2.
It's a road game. Let's give it to Kirk.
We'll say we're okay. So we're 2-3. Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen.
All right, Josh Allen.
2-4. Matt Stafford. 2-5. Unless you want to split the Matt Stafford ones, one home, one away.
No. We'll probably split. I think we can beat the Rams. Doesn't mean we're going to lose. I'm just saying like the quarterback matchups.
I know, but I'm doing the record base off of it. So 2-5. That's with the split against 49ers. Kyler Murray twice.
Split.
Okay, so let's say 3-6. Jordan Love.
Okay. Love.
2-7. And then Aaron Rodgers. 2-8. But then, if it is 2-8 and the rest of them, right? If we go to like Caleb Williams right now, probably you could say Geno because you never know.
Right now, yes.
Yeah, with all the rookies, Bo Nix, Drake May, the Giants game, whoever the fuck the quarterback's going to be, Caleb Williams, and JJ McCarthy. Like, at the end of the day, even with the better quarterback splits, if you win a couple of those, we're talking about a team that's 9-8.
Yeah, so it's just a fun exercise. Doesn't mean the better quarterback doesn't always win. So it's a fun exercise I like to do when looking at schedules.
Yeah, like Tua might be slightly better than Geno, but we still win at home against the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's just a fun exercise, mental.
But if
exercise.
we do lose to all the better quarterbacks, George, we're talking about 8-9 losses. You're talking about a 9-8 or 8-9 team, which for the first year with Mike McDonald, it's not. It's actually, if you're a first year head coach and you have a winning record, that's a successful year.
A successful year, absolutely.
Well, the schedule breakdown, we didn't even know what we were talking about going into this. We went 21 minutes, so we did it. And thanks for tuning in today. Do you have anything else to say before we wrap it up?
That's it, man. Not much.
Right.
Go Seahawks. Don't leak it next year. Let me watch it like on TV.
Just you gotta turn off your Twitter for notifications on the schedule release day that day. And
I know. I just have all other stuff I'm looking at too, so it's hard.
just on that day you have to. Thanks for tuning in today. Thank you for tuning into Seattle on Tap. You can find us everywhere. If you type in Seattle on Tap on platforms, on all of them, Twitter, podcast platforms, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is, you'll find us. And go to SeattleOnTap.com to check out our merchandise or find all of our stuff regardless on all our content there. George, we are revamping and getting out a lot of cool merchandise. So you guys got to check that out if you want to support. And they will be linked in the shop here on YouTube most of the time as well. So make sure you check it out and support. And we'll be back in the next few days here. And go Perfect. Hawks. And I'm glad we have some football topics coming up finally. We had the draft. We have the schedule. It's nice.
Yeah, and if you want to listen to all our other stuff, you can see in the link in the description as well, like our basketball channel and our NFL channel where we talk about other teams. Probably not as insightful as the Seahawks one, but more entertaining maybe. Not more entertaining, but more of a entertainment-based podcast rather than just, breaking down the team.
We do a lot of quizzes, fake stat, real stat guesses. Essentially, if you want to watch a game show based on sports, check out, because it's a cool concept of a game show based on sports, I would say. Yeah. Our other podcasts, Hoops on Tap and the Sports on Tap. Hoops on Tap's obviously basketball. Sports on Tap's all NFL. Check those out if you enjoy giving us a listen.
Thanks, guys. Please do. And like and subscribe to those channels as well. It means the world to us.
We appreciate it. We love y'all. And we'll be back soon. And George, you know what we like to say.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Peace.